talking about the Dream Manager program and what it could do for other companies. Just imagine if other companies just read the book, take it one step at a time, start small, and who knows, maybe 7 years later, you'll have a team of 4 or 5 dream managers and be making changes, positive changes, and to enrich lives for generations to come, right?
I'm excited about this episode because we are talking all about the Dream Manager, and I was joined by Chris DeVlieger, who is the Dream Manager for the Suter Company. We talk a lot about the Suter Company. They've had the Dream Manager program since 2017, and what they have built is remarkable. So we wanted to have her come back onto the show and talk about her experience, what she's seeing, and how she is building the program out to support everyone on her team, to support her team members in becoming the best version of themselves. I hope you enjoy this episode. Chris, thank you so much for coming back onto the show. So good to see you.
Oh, my pleasure. It's always a blast to be with you, Kate. Talk about dreams.
Talk about dreams, talk about Dream Manager. It's always a good time. And what I really love about when we get to talk is you implemented the program in 2017, and wow, have you and your team just done some incredible things with the program, and you've inspired so many of your team members to dream and achieve their dreams. And so today, we really just wanted to talk a little bit about how that happened. What was that flow like, and what did that entail, right? Because obviously looking back, I mean, we've known each other a long time. And when I think about when we first got started, it was you started like everyone starts, right? You see it, but you don't necessarily know how you're going to build it. And now you've built it, and you can look back and really shed some light on how have you really implemented this program to make such an impact at Suter. So just overview. Talk to us a little bit about the Suter Company and how many employees you have.
Sure. So the Suter Company has been in business since 1925. This is our 100th anniversary. We're
So exciting.
I know. I mean, how cool is that? I don't think many people get to say that in their lifetime that they worked with a company, that's been in business for 100 years. And we are employee owned now. So in the last 7 years, that's another cool thing. We've become an ESOP. And so we are a food manufacturer in Northern Illinois. So making just incredible foods for the nation. So yes.
I love it. And how big is your team?
We have close to 400 employees. And now on the enrichment team, there's 4 of us. And we have the hopes and dreams of hiring our 5th dream manager this year.
So exciting. Your 5th dream manager. That is so remarkable. So let's talk a little bit, and we'll get into the dreams because, that's one of our favorite things to talk about, some of the dreams that are being achieved. But let's talk a little bit about what that looked like when you started bringing on new dream managers, and you've now created this division in the company that is just all of you dream managers that are leading the charge. So let's talk a little bit about what that looked like and how long that took and really what that vision was.
Sure. So in 2017, it was just me. And I started off just thinking, how am I going to get 40 dreamers, right? And it was honestly pretty easy. We just talked about how it was a cool new benefit. And I offered a couple dreamstorming sessions. So there's some cool terminology there, but I offered a couple dreamstorming sessions. And from those, I had 20 dreamers. So right away after becoming certified, I had 20 dreamers, and then the word of mouth quickly spread. And I was at 40 dreamers, a pretty full caseload, 40 plus. You know me, Kate, I can't stop at 40. But within 6 months, I was over 40 and just dreaming away. And then before you know it, we had a waiting list. And so then I hired a part-time dream manager to help me. And that person took on 10 dreamers for me. And then their dream was to retire again. So they left, and I hired my first full-time dream manager, Ben, back in 2022, I believe, or 2021. And so, so now we're up to 4 full-time dream managers. And we're a separate division. I was with human resources, and then now we are a separate team or department within the Suter Company.
Which was a dream of yours, because I still remember talking to you that you wanted this to be really your full-time thing at some point.
Exactly. And I wanted to just be able to really take the program and enhance it, right? And just help people realize that working at Suter is a really cool place to be.
Yeah, it is. And your numbers show for it because you continue to have really great retention of your team members. And actually, let's talk about the numbers because you have some really cool numbers when it comes to retention. Obviously, there's a lot of organizations. Attracting and retaining talent is a big challenge for many of them. And let's talk about your retention numbers and compared to your industry.
Yeah. So our retention rate is 91%. So over the past 3 years on average. And so we have a 9% turnover in the Dream Manager program, which I think is pretty good in today's market. When you look at other manufacturing companies, and I believe it's around 26% in 2024. And so look at the morale and, you just look at the cost of turnover and then training and, it's just everything. So that's a big deal, right? When you can retain and have a significant increase due to, oh my gosh, just listening and dreaming and helping people be the best versions of themselves.
It's really remarkable to see those kinds of numbers. And we were talking earlier a little bit about healthy turnover, right? Like it's okay for some of the people on your team to leave. So it's not necessarily a goal to have 100% retention. The goal is some people are meant to go do something else and you can help them achieve a dream.
And on that 9%, three of those were because that was their dream. One young man, his dream was to be in the service. So he, after being with us for a couple of years, he left to go be in the Marines full time. I mean, oh, talk about my heart melting, right? And I had another employee and she wanted to get married and have children. That was her dream. And so that's good turnover, right? When people are able to live out their dreams and, make a difference in the world, right?
Yeah, make a difference in the world, make a difference in their world and their piece of the world. So let's talk about so you have this department of dream managers, which is really cool because you think about so many organizations and they are offering programs to their team members and their team doesn't know about them or they're not really using them or they don't really know what programs to use or how, like they don't know what to offer their team members. And I think you guys are really smart in the sense of obviously through Dream Manager, you're able to learn about your people's dreams and then uncover, oh, what is it that we can provide for them? So you've been so strategic about the Dream Manager program and then figuring out what other things you can do as an organization, what other programs you can offer your team to help them achieve those dreams. So talk a little bit about that strategy.
Sure. 7 years ago, I didn't put that together, but I kept hearing like themes, right? Like, oh, I want to lose weight, or I'm having financial issues, or I want to become a United States citizen. So out of listening and getting that feedback, I was able to say, well, let's offer citizenship classes on site. Let's get the training and do that. In regards to helping people financially, let's offer Financial Peace University on site. Let's be face to face and help people through their difficult times. Or if they're planning to retire and they're just emotionally and financially just not sure what to do. And then physically, that came from a couple dreamers who had significant weight loss as a dream. And so then we hooked up with the YMCA locally and had a 50% reduction to join the YMCA just down the street. And then we also now have a fitness center on site. So those are just some of the crazy things that I'm able to do and offer to employees, not only the dream managers, but all 400 employees, right?
That's what I think is so cool because when you hear companies talk about culture or you look at organizations, like the big tech companies, what do they always have? The free food and lunches and sleep pods and all these fancy things and these big campuses. But for organizations that can't necessarily build that kind of stuff out, we need to know what is it that our team members would actually be excited to use? Like, what are the things that they actually need instead of leaders getting together in a boardroom and saying, we should offer our team members this. They're going to love it. But we have no idea, right? Like, why not ask them? And so you're doing that through the Dream Manager program. But I think that's what's so interesting is that there's a lot of programs out there. And so as leaders, we have to decide where are we going to invest? What are we going to do? And what better way than to ask your team members, what do you really need support on? And starting with dreams is the first step. It makes so much sense.
Mm-hmm.
I remember years ago we were talking about it, and it was like, it's the heart of your development programs. Like, it's like the dream manager is the heart of it all. It starts with the dreams.
Exactly. I always say it's the small things that really become the big things for individuals, right? So just getting to know them and then just helping them through one small thing. I'm not trying to downsize it, but it means the world to them. And so then they're happier and able to focus and probably doing things better at home as well as work. And so it's just a win-win.
Yeah. Hey, you know the Floyd philosophy. Your organization can only be the best version of itself to the extent that your people are becoming better versions of themselves. How did you decide who to hire as dream managers? Because we get this a lot. People are like, I don't know who on my team could be a dream manager, or how do I hire the right person? What did you look for in the people in Ben and Jackie?
Yeah, and Omira, I guess qualities of a great training manager is somebody who has the heart of a teacher, right? They're going to take the time to understand the situation and really listen and provide resources, but not tell the person what to do, right? Just coach them, right? So I look for a heart of a teacher, somebody who has a little bit of experience, right? Because you're helping people physically, emotionally, intellectually, spiritually, financially. Empathy, just a little bit of empathy. Oh, my favorite two words to sweet accountability, just to sweetly hold somebody accountable. Those are a few, right, that I think of when I'm looking for somebody who could be a potential coach,
Yeah.
aka dream manager.
I always tell when people say, I don't know if I'd be a good dream manager, I'm like, believe me, if you care about people, we can show you how to be a great dream manager. It's just through the resources that we have, but the heart of someone who really cares and wants to help other people become the best version of themselves. If you have that,
Yeah, and be a big cheerleader, right? I mean,
yeah.
life is tough. And so when somebody does fall off, they're working towards, let's say, for example, wanting to lose weight and they fall off the wagon a little bit. I'm like, dust yourself off, pick yourself back up. Tomorrow's a new day, go for it, and just cheer them on. Tell them that, yeah, you can do it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I know. It's so sad to think that there's so many people that don't have that. Even when you go home, even the people in your life, I mean, sometimes people don't have that person that has confidence in them, that believes in them, that pushes them towards their dream, especially when they've been knocked down a few times, too many.
I think I took that for granted. I'm glad you brought that up because I find that more often than what I thought. And I guess I thought, oh gosh, how blessed am I? But there are some folks who just don't have anybody in their corner saying, you can do this, or I believe in you, or even just saving, just put $5 this week and then $10 next week. Just somebody cheering them on, right? And just saying, you got this, you can do it.
Yeah, I was on a call with someone earlier today, and we were talking about working from home and can you really be effective working from home? And she was talking about that there were people on her team where she said, I know that they're probably not doing their best work. And part of that is because they don't have family. They're at home by themselves. They are alone a lot. And that can be really challenging. So couple that with they have dreams that they're not really pursuing or not talking about or not getting support on. It's a wonderful, beautiful thing. So anyone who's listening, we can all be cheerleaders for each other. Even if you're not a dream manager, this is your sign to call your friend, text your friend, ask them about their dreams. What are they looking forward to? And just give them that little boost of encouragement because we all need it. We all need it.
Yeah, I would say buy the dream manager and then go on a date together, whether you're friends or, significant other, and just talk about your dreams and then just start sweetly holding each other accountable. Like pick your top three dreams or pick one or two. Pick the one that's the most important and pick the one that's the most fun. And then talk about it once a month. I mean, it's invigorating.
I love it. Dream dates. Look at that. Dream dates. We can have dream dates. So you guys are really big too on measuring the success of the program. And we talked a little bit about retention, but what are some other ways that you're measuring the success of the program? What are some of the numbers that you're looking at?
Sure. I love to look at the dreams achieved, right? And so since I started the program in 2017. We've achieved 182 dreams. I also love to measure, and this came early in my career as a dream manager. I call them the small wins. So I had an employee who came up to me and I was at the copier and they whispered like, Chris, and I'm like, yeah. They're like, I found a savings of $200. And I'm like, that's huge. And they're trying to erase $2,000 worth of debt. So that's 10% in my head. And I'm like, that's huge. I'm like, congratulations. Whipped them off a little postcard or something, a little card in the mail. But I started tracking those, like, because those small wins, if you're encouraging somebody and they're working on weight loss or they're working on paying down debt, before you know it, a small win becomes a dream. So we measure small wins here at the Suter Company. We count things like, I want to lose 50 pounds and I've lost 10. I'm like, that's awesome. Keep up the good work. So we measure small wins. So when I'm with people and dreaming with them, we also categorize their dreams, whether they fall into physical, emotional, spiritual, intellectual, or financial, so that I can look at that and again, gauge like, oh my gosh, could we offer classes on like, for example, we just had one last week on how to improve your credit score because we have about, and I think 16 people came to that class after hours. They weren't paid. And then they came because they're trying to buy homes or buy cars and improve their credit score so they can have, live out their dream of buying a home or getting a car.
That is so awesome for a number of reasons. We have the internet, right? So we can find information about anything. However, not everybody does it. Not everyone will take the time. And so, or some people, it's just kind of not their nature to go searching for stuff. So it's almost like we have this idea of, oh, I don't know how to do it. So it stops there. Instead of, I don't know how to do it, but what's the one next step that I can take? Yeah. And what you're doing is providing them, oh, you don't know how to do it? Well, now come and be involved in this. So the fact that you had that many people come after hours, not being paid, staying late, and that shows, oh, they actually do care. They might just really not be aware of where to go. Or in this world, it also is challenging on who do you trust? What do you do? It's so to know that, oh, my employer they've vetted this person. I know they're credible. And now I feel like this is going to be relevant information and helpful information for me instead of just Googling something and finding something that could potentially turn into a disaster. So I feel like that's really important. And I recognize that a lot with the dreamers is they do need a little bit of guidance sometimes. And when you provide that guidance, man, that's what lights them up. That's what starts. Like it starts them on that journey.
Yeah, I agree. And I love these words. In the busyness of life, we kind of put it off like, oh, I'll get to it when I get home or I'll get to it tomorrow. So I'm like, no, let's just take time right now in this dream session. It'll take us 5-10 minutes to look up, I had a case where a dreamer was really worried. I could tell, see it on their face. They were and it was because they were not feeling well. They thought they were really super sick. And they're like, I don't have a doctor. I'm like, they didn't know. They were in their 20s. They were young. They didn't know how to get a doctor. I'm like, oh, come on. Here's how it works. And I showed them Blue Cross Blue Shield. That's our insurance carrier. And we could do provider finder. And I'm like, here's 5 new doctors accepting patients in the area. And I'm like, printed it off, gave it. And I'm like, here's your password, login, etc. You're ready to go. And they came back a month later and they were like, Chris, I went, I got it. I feel better. It wasn't what I thought. And so sometimes I don't think people either have the time or, like you said, understand the internet or their resources or how to research. So yeah, if you can just help them get past that and then start to dream again, it's huge.
Right. When you said that about, maybe not have enough time, it's also just this idea of motivation, right? Because how much fun is it to find a doctor or to learn about how to get better credit? These are all things we know it's good and we want the result of it, but it's not the most fun. So we put those things off. How easy is it for say, oh yeah, I'll do it later. I'll do it later. We put the things off later that we don't want to do. If we were excited to do them, we would do them. So this makes you kind of hold them accountable. It also helps them prioritize what really matters. And sometimes what really matters, we just got to get it done. It's not the fun stuff.
Right.
All right. I love it. I love it. So your team of dream managers, the Enrichment team, such a great name. I love it. You guys have a goal this year of increasing the participation among your dreamers with all, or really team members, even if they're not a part of the dream manager, to take more advantage of some of the other programs that you're offering. Tell us about that.
Our goal company-wide this year is to increase the participation in all the extraordinary care benefits that we offer here at the Suter Company by 25%. So things like the Dream Manager program and the coaching. There's even what I call like resource assists. That's another Chris term in which people come to us and they need help just for a visit or two. And I'm like, okay, we can help you and get back on path or get back, to the right resources. So we have that. We have Suter Serves where once a month, or no, several things a month. Every month we're doing something to give back to the community, right? And our employees are bringing those ideas to us, whether we're serving for Habitat for Humanity or any, just service project within our community, giving back to the community because we feel we're so blessed that we want to help the community that helps us. Gosh, we're doing Suter Serve, so we have educational opportunities. So there's always something going on in the enrichment team.
So awesome, all the things that you're providing for your people. So let's talk about some of the dreams because, we got to talk about some of the dreams. 182 dreams achieved over the course of this time. And I know you never pick a favorite or a dream that is the most unique or original because you're so sweet and you know that every dream matters to the individual who achieves it, which is beautiful. But let's talk about some of the dreams that are being achieved at Suter and the impact that it's having.
Oh my gosh. So I'll read off a couple because they're just so many.
I know there's too many to even say.
Here, but there's a couple promotions. There's one where they paid off all their personal debt and now they're working on paying off their mortgage early. Determined the field they wanted to pursue a career in. They're going back to college. So that's pretty cool. Met their weight loss goal. We've had new homes purchased. We've had employees take their families on vacations. A lot of where people are starting to try and save money. This one they reached their $6,000 savings goal. They saved 6 months worth of rent. So that way they just had that in their back pocket. This one got their wills done. And this one was it sounds like, oh, getting their wheels done, how's that a dream? Well, it was because we had an employee who was near and dear here at Suter who passed away over the weekend last year. And so that impacted the team. And so they're like, no, we need to make sure our affairs are in order, that our families are well taken care of and they don't have to worry. Here's another one, became a U.S. citizen. That was their dream, become a U.S. citizen, moved into a new home, graduated from college. We had 5 of those in 2024.
Wow.
One was a master's, and I think the other 4 were undergraduate degrees. Here's another one, an associate's degree. So purchasing a home. This one was sweet. Their daughter finally got her license, and the whole family had been helping her, the daughter or the sister, try and pass her driver's test. And that was the dream. I'm like, for a couple of years, they just wanted to help their daughter pass her driver's test, overcome her fear of that.
I love that. It's like a family dream.
There's been a couple lately that I think are super sweet where they were not speaking to other family members. And through the Dream Manager program, we just worked with them on the emotional side of that dream. And so now this one is speaking with their grandma and their relationships improved. The other one improved a relationship with their son, and they talk every day now, where they had not talked for years to each other.
We got to hold on one second, because I know that there are somebody listening that is thinking about someone in their life that they have not spoken to, whether it's a family member, a longtime friend, someone, and you think about them, and sometimes you think about reaching out to them and you don't because of whatever happened in the past. And this is what we do in the dream storm. Like, this is your sign, this is your opportunity to pick up the phone, to text that person, to call that person, to text them, hey, let's schedule a time for a call, something to start that conversation again. I sometimes wonder, Chris, how many conversations are not being had, or how many relationships were destroyed because of just
a silly misunderstanding or miscommunication.
Yes, misunderstanding, miscommunication. It's like, I just think it's really sad. And so this is the time. And that is such a beautiful dream. And that makes me happy to know that this is like a good reminder that it can happen. You can mend those relationships.
And I suppose if you're thinking like a business owner or leader of the company, like, why would that matter? That employee now has, but it does, right? Because
Yes.
emotionally, this happened to me a couple years ago, not in 2024. And I did the small baby steps where I'm like, okay, what's one thing you're going to do in the next 30 days? And they sent a card. They sent just a little Hallmark card to that person. And then I said, okay, and they came back and they said, I sent it. I'm like, okay. I said, now you need to, have you considered following up on the card? So then the next time they called, and by the end of the year, it took him, it was a gentleman, 12 months, but he improved that relationship with his son where they were going out to like fish or to a restaurant like a year later. And so I love those stories because then they're more fully engaged at work, right? Because they're just happier. Because if you're happy at home, then you're probably more productive and more engaged at work, right? Or
Yes.
you saw how easy it was to mend the bridges or the fences with your son, then you might do it at work, right? Or encourage others.
Well, that's what's beautiful about the program. And Matthew talks about this, is the difference between Dream Manager and another life coaching program is you're being fed new content to help through those situations. You're not just talking about those relationships, you're being fed new content that supports, how am I going to do this? Right? Like if somebody hasn't reached out to someone or they don't know how to have that conversation, it's really hard to ask someone to just go out and start it. But when we give them the new tools, and we do talk a lot about in the relationship session around the 7 levels of intimacy, and Matthew goes into, okay, there's 7 levels of intimacy, and this is we have different people in all different areas, all different levels, and that's a beautiful thing. And we don't need to be a 7. We don't need to get to level 7 with everyone that we meet. That would be a little weird even, but we do want to have that type of relationship with the people that are closest to us. And so you get fed that content, and like, how do I do that? What does that look like? And
Right.
what are some of the conversations that I can have? And so because they're involved in the program and talking about their dreams, they have that ability to then start asking those folks about their dreams, which is awesome. So yes, to your point, the whole idea of the Dream Manager, right, is to help that person become a better individual. If you're better personally, you're going to grow professionally. So I'm happy that you shared some of the dreams that are achieved as people get promoted. Yeah, because they're a better person. They're a better leader. Like all of those skills that they're learning trickle down into the other areas of their life.
Exactly.
I know we're like preaching to the choir, but I just love talking to you, Chris, because it's everything that you're doing over there at Suter is so beautiful. The dreams that are being achieved. I do want you to be able to share, because this is so cool, the 18-year-old girl that started with you, or that you started working with, and you're still working with her, and you got to see her graduate.
Yeah. So I hired this person when she was 18. It was her first job, there was something in there. Like I was the human resources manager then. I'm like, I knew there's something telling me like, hire her. And now here she is years later. She was one of my first dreamers in 2017. And she had several great dreams. I think she had some financial dreams that she took care of. She also purchased a home. And then the coolest one that I hope it meant a lot to me. And I know we're not supposed to be as invested as the dreamer, but I was like quietly hoping and praying. But she went back to school, first generation to graduate from. First, she got her associates, then she got her undergraduate degree in December. And she live streamed me when she was graduating because I couldn't be there. She could only have 6 tickets. So, of course, I'm going to let her family go, but it could have been me. But I was honored that she even just, gave me the live stream and just let me watch her walk across the stage. And she's been promoted at the Suter Company. And I just tell her that you've accomplished so much. And I have high expectations of her. I just think she's just going to, like any of our dreamers and our employees.
Yeah.
Once you start achieving dreams, then you can do anything.
And I think that's one of the gifts of being a leader is that you see things in others that they might not even recognize in themselves. And for you to be able to gift that person with that level of confidence, and for you to have that expectation of her, like, I see greatness in you. And maybe you don't see it yet, but that's okay, because I'm going to come alongside you and I'm going to help you. And at some point you're going to recognize the superpower that I already see in you. And that is a beautiful, beautiful gift. And I know I'm so grateful because I had someone like you when I was young and just getting started in my career. And I will forever be grateful for all of those mentors because they really helped shape the person that I am today. And that is what we get to do. And that's why it's so inspiring, this program. And of course, your leadership in the program and what you've been able to do with it. And we're so grateful to you at Floyd because we love talking about the Suter Company. We bring you guys up all the time. And I'm happy that we got to talk a little bit more about where you are today. When you think, Chris, about the next 5 to 10 years, what are your dreams for this program at Suter?
Oh my goodness, that every single employee has a dream manager. We currently have 155 people in the program, that there's even more people in the program, and that it just carries on, right? And it goes on indefinitely, right? That's
Wow.
what I hope.
I have no doubt that you will get there with the team of fellow dream managers that you have alongside of you. It's really cool to see. So, Chris, thank you so much for coming back onto the show.
Oh, thank you, Kate. It's always just a pleasure to be with you. It's so inspiring, and talking about the Dream Manager program and what it could do for other companies. Just imagine, if other companies just read the book, take it one step at a time, read the book, start small, and who knows, maybe 7 years later, you'll have a team of 4 or 5 dream managers and be making changes, positive changes, and to enrich lives for generations to come, right?
You said it first. You heard it here first. And it's taking the first step, right? You take the first step, get certified, and then, I just love when we do see a lot of people that leave and they're like, wait, I don't know how is this going to work? And then a year later, they're rocking and rolling and hiring new dream managers and all the things. So you just have to get started. Take the first step. All right. Awesome. Chris, thank you so much.
Okay.
Don't you just love hearing all of these stories? I just love it. It's so inspiring to hear what Chris is doing. And as she said, imagine what that would look like in your organization when you start to implement this program, what it's going to do for your people, helping people dream again, giving them the tools that they need to become the best version of themselves. It is such a gift that we get to give our people to help them achieve their dreams. Oh, it's so cool. If you are interested in learning a little bit more about the Dream Manager program, you can go to thedreammanager.com. We would love to talk to you about that. Or if you know someone, if you have a friend or a colleague or someone that's in your industry or in your community and you think, wow, I think they would really appreciate this type of program, we would love to have that conversation with them. And we would even love to send them a book. Hey, we'll send them a copy of the book so that they can experience what the Dream Manager has done for so many organizations all over the country. So you can reach out to us. You can also reach out to us at info@floydconsulting.com. Thank you so much for listening. We appreciate you. Until next time, lead with culture.